Hey there, people. It's time for another deck haul. And I am sitting over here on my couch, all comfy and shit, because I want to show you guys some cool shit that I got. So, yeah, let's get to it. So, one of the decks that I got is really cool and really special, even though this is not the type of deck that I normally would like to work with, and I will explain why, but still I kind of love it. So let me show you. I got this deck called the Pegasus Oracle by Alana Fairchild, and I got this because my good friend Andrew showed me this deck, and I was kind of like, this art is so gorgeous. And that's the whole thing with me and Alana Fairchild's decks. She seems to attract great artists, and that's why I love it so much. The art is freaking amazing. I hope the camera will focus because the lighting isn't the greatest, and I am aware of that. I'm not some like fancy YouTuber that has like a whole setup going. I just do this for fun, you know? But these cards are all like based around Pegasi, all the different Pegasi of the world. Now the colors are very vibrant. We've been getting a lot of like blues and yellows up till now, but that will change soon. Look at this one. Now this is a really gorgeous, really pretty deck. Now I told you before, there is definitely a little qualm that I have with it. So the reason why I normally wouldn't buy this deck is because of the fact that it only has like about 30 cards. It has 30 cards, yeah. Just had to check the box. And to me, honestly, that's not enough to construct a good reading if you want to use multiple cards, because you know, the probability of the same cards showing up again and again can get a little bit like annoying. But then again, I was like, you know, I could use this deck for myself for like a nice card of the day pool, and that could be like awesome, right? You know, like just having a deck that's not to be used with clients, but that's just for me. This is one of my favorite cards of the deck, the Black Pegasus. Now, another reason why I normally don't buy Alana Fairchild decks is because she does this thing where the cards have really strange titles that don't really spark your own intuition, but rather what she, or at least that's how I interpret it, what she wants you to do is actually go into the guidebook and read her little paragraph on the card and take that as a guidance, as a point of view for the guidance. And normally I don't really like that. That's why I don't really have a whole lot of other decks by her. I mean, I do have the White Light Oracle, and I only got that because the art that's in there is by an artist whose work is usually very expensive. But that was basically the cheapest way for me to get a hold of that art, so I don't really use that either. But this was actually like, I used this over the weekend. I used it a couple of times, and it was really fun for, you know, getting some guidance just for you, having a little me time, pulling a card and, you know, spending some time with that guidebook and really diving in and, you know, taking the time to read that guidance. So this is actually nice, and this deck would have been a 10 out of 10 for me if she would have put some keywords on the cards. In the book, she has these really awesome like invocations or prayers right here. For every card she has one. It would have been nice if those would have been on the card, or parts of those would have been on the card. That would really make this a 10 out of 10 deck for me, even though it's not necessarily a deck that I usually be attracted to because of the amount of cards in there and because of the way the deck is constructed, so to speak. But yeah, this is a really pretty deck, and it's on this cardstock that Blue Angel uses more and more now. They also used it on the Star Temple Oracle by Susie Cherub, which is that buttery matte cardstock, and I wish for them to keep using that cardstock because it is the bomb. I even heard that they did a reprint of Lucy Cavendish Shadows and Light Oracle on that cardstock, and it's really hard to know which edition you're gonna get if you order that, so I may just wait another year so I'm sure of the fact that I will get that edition with that cardstock. Another deck I got, and I've already taken it out of the box, is another deck that kind of breaks my rules, because I like my Oracle decks to have at least between 40 or 50 cards, at least. And this is another deck that only has, how many cards? It has 34 cards, and that's the Gospel of Aradia. Now, Aradia is, this deck is based around the mythos of Aradia, and there's a lot of great information in the guidebook. And the reason why I got this is because the art in this deck is by Jimmy Manton, and he's one of my favorite Oracle deck artists. Now, this deck may not have that many cards, but the keywords on it make it a very easy, accessible reader, which I love. So I'm definitely going to be using this deck this week. So if you want to see me work with it, check out my Instagram. So you get cards like this, Ecstasy, or the Moon, or the Masculine. Love that there's masculine inclusion in this deck, really like that. Or Ritual. And these are all keywords that I can use when I read Union, because my intuition is more so sparked by words rather than imagery. Dreams, or Hierarchy. And I really like the illustrations. I also like that Jimmy and Stacy DeMarco, who's the author of this deck, chose to sometimes not have people but rather have symbols in the cards. Kind of gives me a little bit of a Lenormand vibe, if you will. This one I love. Curses. Love that. Then we have Divinity. And then we have another guy. Hey, Fight. So there's actually a lot of great keywords on here. One of my favorite cards in the deck is this one called Escape. Love the way that card looks. Love the illustrations. I wish I had, if only I could have Jimmy Manton's talent for a day, I would make my favorite deck. Because he is such a great artist. So this is another deck that kind of broke my mold for my standard for Oracle decks. So that's actually pretty cool. And then I got another deck, and then this is my last deck for this tarot haul video, and that is a really special deck that I've never seen anyone use, and this is the Enchanted Woods Deluxe Petit Lenormand deck. Really cool deck. I mean, look at that box. It's pink. I mean, I am masculine intuition readings, but like I have said before, I'm not always about that intense masculinity. I mean, I like my cutesy pink decks. Everything about this deck pushes all my buttons. The pink, the font, I mean, look at that retro font. Like, this looks like it came straight out of the 70s. The guidebook is really cute. It's a numbered copy. Look at me throwing the deck all around. I haven't played with this yet, but this comes with this little card right here that says it's numbered and it's autographed, and the illustrations are amazing. So they really remind me of these illustrations from the 90s that have, like, I don't know, this, oh, not the 90s, the 70s. They have this like really timeless quality to them. And what I like about this Lenormand deck, because you don't really need a lot of Lenormand decks, honestly. I mean, some people beg to differ, but a Lenormand deck is a Lenormand deck. A tree is a tree, a house is a house. But with a lot of these cards, she's actually drawn them in a way where the meaning becomes very, very clear. And I like that a lot, because sometimes some Lenormand decks can get a little too abstract for me. I actually prefer Kipper over Lenormand. Kipper card divination is really interesting. You should check it out if you don't know anything about it. Kelly from the Truth in Story actually has a great video on it. But yeah, there's something about the quality of these illustrations that just really pushes all my buttons. And she has like a lot of significator cards in here, which I love. Let me show them to you. So she has the Gentleman, but if you don't like that Gentleman, there is another Gentleman. If you're doing a reading with a same-sex couple, you can keep both gentlemen in. Same with the lady. There's two ladies in this deck that you could both keep in if you want it, or you could take them both out. I think I'm gonna take both of them out. And then there's also an extra card that's just called the Significator. So if you're not comfortable with using the lady or the gentleman, you can keep the Significator in and take the lady or the gentleman out. So I love that she did that. But another thing I really loved, because I had to pick this deck up from the post office, and I actually had to pay extra customs charges because I'm in Europe. And whenever that happens, and it happens a lot whenever I order from the US, it's kind of like a bummer, because this isn't the cheapest deck ever. This was about $50 something, I'm not quite sure. So I got home and I was kind of pissed off, and then I opened the package, and how do we say this? The bill was actually in here, the receipt. And on the receipt, she actually wrote a handwritten letter to me in my mother tongue. So I don't know if Colleen, the author of this deck, Colleen Hardy, I don't know if she is Dutch, but this was a really, 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 really special touch. And also, look at this wrapping paper that she used. How awesome is that? Now, I get that the lighting may not have been the best during this video, but I just really wanted to. I mean, I haven't been uploading that much. Work has been very stressful lately. I love my day job, but you know, it is my day job, so a lot of my time has to go into it. But I just wanted to pop on here to show these to you. When the weather gets a little bit better and the daylight lasts a little bit longer, I will be able to shoot like better quality videos for you. But I'm really dependent on my daylight, because like I said, I'm not a professional YouTuber with all this like, with all these awesome ring lights and stuff like that. But yeah, I just really love doing these for you. And yeah, I hope I gave you guys some inspiration. So my latest Oracle decks are the Pegasus Oracle. Great deck. I would personally not use this for clients because I don't want to read from a book. I want the clients to get the experience from me. I'm not a medium, but the reader. So this is going to be just for me, for personal use only. And then we got the Gospel of Aradia that I'm definitely going to be using a lot, because this is one of those decks that just pushes all my buttons. It has this fantasy atmosphere. It has great keywords. Even though the cards are, the number of cards, the amount of cards aren't necessarily the way I want them to be, this is one of those decks that I'm gonna take with me to my grave. I think I have to work with it a little bit more. And then last but not least, the Enchanted Woods Tarot by Colleen Hardy. And if you're interested in this, you can check out her store on Etsy. I saw that she also has a tarot deck, the Hardy Tarot, that looks absolutely magnificent. So I'm going to be checking that out too. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.